Hey everybody, welcome back to another video review. My name's Darren and I hope you enjoy the show. Today, on the spotlight, well no, it's not actually a blue anti-stat mat, but I know what you're thinking. I haven't seen many reviews on anti-static mats as of late. But no, that's not what the review's about, guys. No, it is a multimeter review. This just came in. And I don't usually do box openings or, package openings, what have you, but I thought, what the heck, it's the holidays, do something a little different. So yeah, this came in via Amazon just the other day, and yeah, I do say Amazon because wow, what a difference in shipping. I've been waiting on stuff from China for 2, 3, 4 months now. Amazon, 2, 3, 4 days. So honest to gosh, guys, I think I'm almost through with the eBay and I'm gonna start getting stuff directly off of good old Amazon. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Long story short, here we are. Nice packaging. What can it be? Well, I told you it's a meter. What kind of a meter is it? Hopefully it's a good one. Bear with me as I take apart everything. Ugh. All right. Oh. Hey. Oh, what the heck? It is a professional instrument. Can you believe it? Professional. Wow. I'm liking it. But what kind of an instrument is it? Professional? Professional. Okay, we know it's a professional instrument. So let's open up the box. Oh yeah. Check it out. It's WH5000A. Yeah. Been wanting to review this one for a while. I noticed there was some people on the forums that were chatting about this particular meter. I didn't really say anything because yeah, it's something I had ordered a little while back. And probably ordered this about 2 weeks ago. But first one got lost in shipping. Good old Amazon reshipped it again, different carrier, and there we go. So let's take a close look. And right off the get-go, I like it. It has a interesting heft to it. You know, it's more on the heavy side than the light side. I'm liking it. Now right away when we look at the back, what do we see? We see one of these magnetic hangers. So if you're one of these guys or girls that goes on site and you're doing a lot of stuff, probing, what have you, and you just need to put your meter somewhere, this is a nice little doohickey to have. Now normally as a separate entity, these things go for like 20, 30, 40 bucks, but they included it with the meter. And this once again is an ETEPON, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. TRMS 6000 count meter. Yeah, anything else in the box? Let's see. We have a user guide. Oh, look at that. We even got pictures. Wow. I'm kind of liking that. And we have the specs. Speaking of specs, this thing has a max of 60 mega ohms. And let's see what we have for voltage 1000 volts on the DC and 750 on the AC. What else do we have? I'm trying to find capacitance here. There we are. 60 millifarad, so pretty decent. I've been getting spoiled lately with these 100 millifarad meters, but you know what? 60 millifarad, not too shabby. That works. Frequency and I'm trying to see where. Oh, there we are. The open circuit voltage about 1.5 volts. Ooh, 1.5 volts. That's not a whole lot. So, I like to see at least 3, but we'll see what happens. All around, pretty decent little guide. Take a little closer look at that shortly. And let's look at what else does it come with. Comes with, hey, thermocouple, a transistor checker, slash capacitance checker. A set of probes, and these probes are 10 amp, Cat 4 600, Cat 3 1000 volt. Take off the top. Not really sharp, but we're going to test them out, as we always do. Always like to test the default probes that the meters ship with, and then we'll go ahead and try a higher set of professional probes as well, but I like to do both. And finally we get these. Pair of alligator clips, so that's kind of handy dandy. I like that. I like it too. Oh yeah, how you doing there? Hey, sorry guys. And that's it. Rest is an empty box. But yeah, cool. I'm a little excited. Hope you are too. So let's see, what are we gonna do first? Methinks we're gonna see if we actually have a battery. Turn it on. Oh yeah. Wow, that's a big display. Very nice. You know what they say about the size of a multimeter's display, eh? I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, very nice. Very large LCD screen. Very clear, actually. And this does have a backlight. Gotta hold down on the button. Oh, and it's blue. Look at that. Matches the buttons. The blue blacklight. Oh, yeah. I'm liking it. Okay. Hey, guys. First impressions, I'm happy. You know, I like it. Seems pretty decent quality. A lot of little extras. I am liking it. Now, I paid about 35 bucks for this meter. I'll put it up on the screen right here in a second. But yeah, so it's not a cheap meter per se. It does go beyond what I would classify as a El Cheapo multimeter. For me, an El Cheapo meter is basically, you know, 30 bucks and under. But no, this is not going to go into the El Cheapo meter category because it's just a little too expensive. But that's all right. Now, let's see here. Let's look at the ranges. I see sometimes in some of the forums that people have questions about, you know, what the ranges are. Yeah, I do take it for granted maybe that people know what multimeters are and how to use them. Obviously, I understand that not everybody does. For some people, this is the first time they might even see a multimeter. So, if you know a little bit more, just bear with me. For those that don't, normally multimeters, you have an on-off switch. Sometimes you can press them. Sometimes you turn the rotary selector switch. In this case, it is the rotary selector switch to turn it on. As soon as you turn it on, we go into what is called volts. And in the volts mode, we have volts DC. That's the straight line. Take it up a notch. We are now with the squiggly, which is AC. So we're now in AC mode. Bring it up. Now this is one feature that I do like on multimeters, whether they're uber expensive or uber cheap. But here we have the continuity, the diode, and the resistance all in that single range. And to change the range, I would assume we hit the select button. And there you go. So we just cycle our way through the different selections. Taking up, we have the universal symbol for capacitance. So we're now in capacitance mode, and you can see by default on the screen, it is saying nanofarad. APO is the auto power off, so we are in auto mode. I'm assuming this meter can be disabled as well, which we will soon find out. Keep going up the ranges, we have the frequency and duty cycle, followed by temperature. And that's nice to see. So we have an onboard temperature sensor. So even though it does ship with a thermocouple, you don't need it if you just want to check the ambient environment temperature. So we have Celsius and Fahrenheit, and hit the select switch and it takes us into Fahrenheit mode. So I like it. Moving down the range, we have transistor, the HFE, and that's where this little dongle will come in handy, because on this device we have our transistor inputs, the NPN, the PNP, and this is where you put your base emitter collector accordingly, and we'll look at that in a little while as well. Going down, we go into the current. We're in the microamp range. Now we are in the milliamp, and we are in the amp range.
And once again, these are AC or DC. Now I also see a clamp setting here. Not sure off the get-go what that is pertaining to, but I do see a clamp icon coming up in the display, so I'll have to look at the manual to see what that's all about. And something that's nice, again, and you don't see this in a lot of meters, is you have the off switch on both sides of the dial. So you can go complete set of ranges and go back to off without, you know, if you're in current and you want to turn it off instead of going all the way back, you do that. So I like it. Simple, yet powerful. Okay, so we're going to start doing some tests shortly. Probably the first test we're going to do is something called continuity. You know, it's one of my favorite. Something worth pointing out is the fact there is an optional clamp for this multimeter, the DT3303. So I was unaware of that actually when I purchased the meter. Had I known, I would have gotten the clamp at the same time. So I might do a little mini follow-up, but I will definitely order that clamp and see how the two connect with one another. Cool. Now one thing I'll mention that is kind of nice is the default leads that ship with the 5000. Pretty long, pretty darn long. Can't really get it all on the camera here for you guys, but yeah, they're a lot of length here, so I think it's a good thing. The gauge of the wire too is actually quite thick. Now it's nondescript, there is no technical wiring gauge per se on the wires, but anyway, it feels good, and yeah, it's a fairly good quality lead. I'm quite happy actually with what they shipped with. Once again, it is a slightly larger lead, which I prefer, and in my hands at least, it feels really good. Okay, so we are ready for continuity mode. I have the default probes attached. We're going to try these first. So we're going to put it into continuity, which is the symbol with the little kind of almost looks like that Wi-Fi signal symbol. Anyway, here we are in continuity mode. Ready, set, go. Yeah, it's latching, but it's not fast. At least not with these stock probes. If you do it slow, it's okay. But yeah, so if you do a lot of continuity testing, you definitely want to try different probes. All right, here's Probe Masters. Let's see if that makes a difference. I kind of think it will, but we'll soon find out. Oh yeah, zero delay, spot on, bada boom, bada bing, bada bang, like night and day. Finally, we have a cheap set of good probes. This only cost me a couple of bucks on eBay, but they're actually really good. Here we go. Awesome. Beauty. Okay, we are up against the DC power supply. We're going to do a three-way test. Got the Fluke 83 on the left, the WH5000A in the middle, and on the right, I decided to go with the whole peak HP 760C. And we're going to see how these three compare. Now, the WH5000A, just so you know, it's a 6,000 count meter. According to the manual, it updates 2 times per second. And we'll see how this compares to our Fluke recently calibrated. So right now we're sitting at 0.4 according to the DC power supply. And we're showing 0.41 on the Fluke, 0.41 on the WH5000, and 0.41. So pretty well all neck and neck. Now we're going to take up that voltage. Here we go. And we're going to go up to 6.4 volts, 6.49 on the Fluke, 6.5 on the WH5000, and 6.46 for the HP. Here we go. We're going to go up to 10 volts even. 10 volts even. 10.05 on the Fluke, 10.07 for the WH5000A. And finally 10.01 for the whole peak. So yeah, they're all fairly close. Let's go up, up, and away. We're going to go up to, oh, let's go at 24 volts. Okay, 24. Oh, not quite. 24 even on the power supply. 24.15
for the fluke, 24.2 for the start of the show, and we are over range because the HP is a non-auto ranging, so we'll just take that up a notch. And Houston, we have a problem. What just happened, Mr. HP? And the HP is acting a little weird, sitting at 24 volts. Oh, there we are. Okay, I think we're okay now. Just with a higher resolution, it was a little offset for a while. Okay, so 24 volts. Up, up, and away. 28.7. 28.8 for the fluke, 28.8 for the WH5000, and 28 on for the whole peak. Maxing it out now at 31.4 volts. 31.55 for the fluke, 31.6 for the WH5000, and a little flutter back and forth, 30-31 for the whole peak. So there you have it. So that WH5000A, pretty darn close to the recently calibrated fluke. Good show. Okay, so one nice feature about this meter is it does ship with a relative button, so you can actually use that if you want to negate any sort of unwanted resistance from your leads. We take a look at the leads themselves. Look at that. So, yeah, pretty good. I mean, these are the stock leads once again, so no rel required in our case. So let's take a reading right from the get-go. Say 0.5 resistor. And spot on. Let's go up to 22 meg, 5% tolerance. And there we go, once again, spot on. And this is really quick to settle, which is nice. Well, since we're here, let's go back into capacitance. Try a smaller capacitor, so 3.3 microfarad. Yep, no worries there. And here we have a 0.01 microfarad. And there we are, 10 nanofarad. So, no issues there. Now going down, the first thing that is a pet peeve for me is the fact that the tilting stand or standing bail is a real to get out. Yeah. It's really problematic. Now, am I doing something wrong? I don't think so. Oh! Hang on. It's hidden by the rubber boot. Okay, so you gotta actually pull the boot down? Is this making sense? No, it's not. Okay. Hang on. Yeah, so this is a pain in the butt. Now, let's see here. Holy moly cannoli. What the hell is going on? Just move this aside. Okay, so there it is. So, stick. Oh, wow. Okay, that was the most problematic tilting stand I've ever had to open in a multimeter. Okay. That being said, we have the stand up, and that's as far as it goes. Sort of your atypical kind of presentation. Now, once again, that just goes in the back, so that's cool. That works. Just cycle back a bit here. Now, once the stand is in place, yeah, feels good. No issues there. So, selector switch. Interesting feel to it. It's hard to explain. Has a nice clackety clack, as I like to call it. It is a little on the mushy side, and it does have that annoying freaking beep. Why do they keep beeping every time we turn? OEMs, in the future, please remove the beep. Don't need it every time I turn the dial. Anyway. I'm going to give that selector switch probably 7 out of 10. I just wish it had a little less mushiness to it. Anyway, all right. So we're going to be looking at continuity. Next up is diode mode, and as you can see, the output voltage from the 5000 is 3.2 volts. So that should be good enough
to power most LEDs. Now in the manual it was saying 1.5, which I thought was a little weird, but no, all seems to be clear on the western front. So let's verify that we do have a good diode output voltage. We're going to start with our 3 LEDs, starting with the red, and yeah, no problems there. 1.8 is the forward voltage drop. Take out a blue LED, same idea, 2.5. No trouble lighting it up nor displaying voltage drop. And finally a green LED, and let's just reverse it. Oh yeah, it's very, very dim. It's probably almost hard to see for you guys. It is lighting it up ever so slightly, but it is, and we do have a forward voltage drop showing up as 1.87 volts. So there you go. So there's a few different functionalities on the meter. One of them is the max min feature. Basically you can gauge your reading from the highest to lowest. It might come in handy if you're troubleshooting a circuit, what have you, and you want to know what the maximum or minimum voltage was. Another decent feature is the hold. Now unfortunately it's just your basic touch hold. It's nothing fancy. You have to touch it with your finger. It's not like you do a reading and take the probes away and it will hold that reading. You don't see that on too many meters, but yeah, no, it is just your basic touch hold. So when you have your reading, you've got to take your fingers, hit the hold button, and it will hold the reading, and when you're done, hit it again to release that reading. Also has a range mode, so you can manually select ranges when you are in a voltage, for instance. Has your frequency duty cycle. Yeah, pretty nice basic feature set. So what we'll do next, we'll take a quick look at the transistor testing, and then of course we're going to take a look on the inside. So yeah, this also comes with this little attachment here. They call it a multifunction socket. Indeed it is. You can actually use it to test capacitors if you wanted to. You've got your 2 slots here, positive and negative for the capacitor. You would have to switch it into capacitance mode, but I'm not really keen on that. I'd rather just put it in capacitor mode and use a set of test leads. But if you're into transistor checking at all, or you need to, there's different ways to do it. Obviously, you don't have to use this method. You can use the diode testing method as well. But if you're going to use this little device, you put it into the HFE mode. And what's going to happen is it's going to feed a current to the base of the transistor. And it basically amplifies this. And there's a formula that they use, but basically when you're looking at the transistor gain, you're looking at something that is called an HFE. Now every transistor has its own unique HFE. It's usually anywhere between 10 to 500. It can change with temperature and other variables as well. So it's kind of a rough gauge in terms of how good or not good a transistor is. But we want to look at the HFE on this particular guy. I do have it in the emitter base collector mode. I will maybe zoom in here a little bit for you. So yeah, so the middle nodule there is the base, and it's a little loose, so we're just going to touch down on it, and there we go. So our HFE here is 133, and for this particular transistor, that is normal. So there you go. I don't know how useful that is, but you know, it's there, and I mean, heck, why not? Next up is capacitance mode, one of my favorites, and we've got 3 caps here, large electrolytics, and we're going to start off with a 10,000 microfarad. And remember, this meter is saying that it has a capability of 60 millifarad. So let's start with the 10 millifarad. Here we go. Are we going to get any sort of a visual cue or visual display on the meter itself? It has switched to MF, as you can see. There it goes. So 9.81, so spot on. Spot on. So we'll remove that. Let's go up to our 47,000 microfarad or 47 millifarad capacitor. And I'll hook this guy up. Here we go. These were all just discharged before this test. So the meter is charging up. There is, you know, no indicator per se to let you know that it's actually in a function mode right now. We will see. This is a fairly large cap. Now we're in the MF mode, so it's in the millifarad range. And there we go, 42.62. So spot on. Now, because we had some success not too long ago with some other meters who exceeded their expectations by leaps and bounds. I mean, that last meter that I reviewed, it was amazing. It had a 10 millifarad range, and we were able to test this bad boy, this 100,000 microfarad, 100 millifarads. So let's see if the 5,000 can do the same. Bit of magic. Here we go. Can we hit 100? Just let it sit down. What's going to happen? We're back. Now we're in the millifarad range, as you can see, and we have an OL. So over limit, open loop, overload, whatever you want to call it. It's a fail. Well, it's not really a fail. Let's face it, the meter never said it was going to be able to measure 100 millifarads. So that was a hope. It was a pipe dream, guys. I'm sorry. I was hoping. I was really hoping. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, next up it's disassembly time. I'm going to start by undressing our meter. And look at that. It's different. It just comes right off. So instead of that mold covering the entire perimeter, it actually just stops at the top, and it just undresses like real easy, like, yeah, oh baby, baby. Me and multimeters. Okay, so we got the boot off. Gonna flip it around, and we've got, it looks like, 2 Phillips screws at the bottom. So we'll start by taking off the battery compartment and go in there with our Phillips. Okay, so we've got 2 Phillips screws that came out of the battery assembly, and it's just unfortunately going right into plastic. There's no threaded insert. Now we just gotta pull it off. And, oh, very nice. And geez, the battery still is dressed in its plastic. Interesting. Cool, but look at that. We have, it's instant fuse access. Oh my God. Wow. Somebody was using their noggin. Good job. ETEPON? Good job, good job, good job. So yeah, that is really nice to see. Now, obviously one of these for the current, one is for the milliamp range. Current range is fused, 10 amp max, and the micro milliamp is 400 milliamps. So there you go. How often do you see that, eh? Not even in expensive multimeters do you see this instant fuse access on most of them, so good stuff. So we will remove that, and we're gonna go in a little bit further. Okay, so here we are on the inside. Now when you do remove the cover, the back cover, these fuses will actually plop right off because the holding mechanism is on either side of the plastic assembly. So when you actually take off the lid, you're actually popping off the fuses at the same time. So good idea to remove the fuses before you actually take off the back cover. Now normally you wouldn't have to take off the back cover because they have given you easy fuse access, but for those of us that like to know, now you know. Okay, so we're starting off at the bottom, gonna work our way up. And I do want to point out that if I just flip over the cover, yeah, there is no shielding. Oh well. Okay, so here we are on the inside, and we're starting off at the bottom. And let's just see here. So this is the current side of things, and you can tell we have a couple of resistors. It's the current shunt itself, and there is the 10 amp 600 volt fuse, and you can also see down here we have a couple of PTCs, What else do we have here? Okay, so on the current side of things, that is our input protection. It's not bad. We look at the probe inserts, once again, are the split variety. The soldering job seems to be pretty good. No complaints here. Current shunt is actually a fairly decent size. Very, very clean PCB, and I like what I see. Now we're just going to change. Okay, I have the probe in the voltage test lead in the voltage probe right now, and just going to see what we have in terms of input protection on the voltage side. And you can see the two PTCs are actually voltage side input protection, so that has nothing to do with the current. Yeah, so we have a couple PTCs there, and that is pretty well all she wrote. Now we'll check the input protection for the milliamp range. So once again, we have our milliamp fuse here, and this is once again rated at 500 milliamps. And we also have, I believe, yeah, so down here we have some diode clamping going on. And yeah, so there you go. So in the milliamp range, we have our fuse, nice ceramic style fuse here, as well as some diode clamping. For the voltage input protection, we have the two PTCs, and for the 10 amp protection, here we have the fuse, the current shunt, and a couple of resistors. So yeah, all in all, it's pretty decent. No complaints here. Yeah, it's not an expensive multimeter. It is an inexpensive multimeter, but at least they are doing some basic stuff right. So let's keep moving down the line here and see what else we have. Very, 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 very nice PCB. Very clean. I mean, yeah, it looks really, really good. No flux anywhere. All the soldering seems to be top notch. Very, very, very clean. Interesting here. We don't have our cob, so we can actually see what the IC is. And let's see if we can get a little closer for you. Yeah, it's still hard to see on. Yeah, that IC is the DM1106. It's a pretty darn good IC, and it is being programmed by this guy right here. This is the EEPROM. It's an AT24C02, and that is a programmable ROM. I believe it has 2 KB of memory, and that is what is storing all of the data for that IC. What else do we have here? Not much else. That's pretty well it. Our standard piezo. A lot of SMD components. There is some through hole as well, so it is a little bit of a mix. But all in all, very clean, very well thought out. This down here, that's probably our voltage regulator here. Yeah, I like what I see. Yeah, for me, it's a solid 2 thumbs up. Very clean, very well laid out, and I don't see any issues in terms of sustainability over the long term. Closing thoughts on the WH5000A from ETEPON. I really like it. The 6,000 count true RMS multimeter has a lot going for it. Solid build quality, well made, feels good in the hand. It's a full-size meter with an excellent set of ranges. It seems to be quite stable, and it has decent input protection. Even the probes it ships with aren't half bad. Now you can do a lot worse than the 5000. I'm giving it a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Lots more videos coming up in the new year, and speaking of the new year, Happy New Year everyone. Looking forward to seeing you all next year. Lots of new videos coming up, and best of all, keep on testing.